Hello and welcome to Eye on Oakland. I'm Chuck Moss, your host, coming to you through the magic of, well, it's StreamYard, not Zoom, same deal. We have a great guest, Tara Moon, who is the director of the Bloomfield Township Library. Hello there.
Hello, good morning. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here. I don't want to date the show, but we just had some snow coming down, so I look forward to that nice warm place. The library is a great place to be, but before we do, let's just jump right in. What's going on at the Bloomfield Township Library?
Well, Chuck, it's been about 3 years since the pandemic upended everything but library service, obviously. And we are really back and fully back in operation. We're busier than ever before, it feels like. When I walk around the library, I see chairs packed, and it's just so good to see everybody back. We've had, speaking of weather, when we had those bad storms in March when power was out for several days on end, the library did not lose power, and it was a good thing because we were able to be a warming place for people. We could help people charge their devices. I know we hosted many a Zoom and Teams call, so we were just packed during those couple of days. So we're glad to be that for the community.
Yeah, when we had our weekly Friday ice storm, basically. Yeah, that was good. We never lost power, fortunately, but I actually lost for about 5 seconds. I thought, oh, here we go, but no, we were good. So I did just some quick stuff. How big is the library? How many books? Let's get a size. It's a very major facility.
It is a very big building. Our building is 102,000 square feet. We have two floors, a main level and a lower level. On the lower level is only meeting rooms, so it's not the most exciting place, but they're very, very well used by the public. Our collection, oh gosh, you're stumping me here. It's a little over 375,000 items in our whole collection. That's books, DVDs, CDs, plus a lot of non-traditional library items in the form of different kinds of kits. We even have a skeleton you can check out.
I can check out the skeleton.
You can, yes.
Is this like a life-size skeleton?
Yes, it's part of our STEM collection kit. So STEM for science, technology, engineering, and math. And it is a skeleton you can check out if you want to learn about anatomy.
I could check him out on a Friday and drive around with him in my convertible. I could
If
do
that's
that.
what, yes, no judgment, Chuck.
Now I could take him down with my wiener dogs. That'd be good. I've got skeletons that I put outside the house on Halloween. So maybe you could go meet some friends. Go over to Dairy Mat.
There you
So
go.
now you say books. Books are great, but you mentioned items, not just books, because books are just the beginning. You're like the media center, right?
Yes, yeah, we've got DVDs, audiobooks, and CDs. And like I said, we have these wonderful kits. We have several different collections. One is called Vitality Kits. That's meant for older adults and their caregivers. We have an accessibility services collection, which kit collection, which is meant for people who are somewhere on the autism spectrum or maybe just have some different needs for those people and their caregivers. We have STEM kits, like I mentioned, all kinds of things. Libraries are really veering into a library of things. And so we're always looking to expand the collections of things that we offer our public.
Now you've used the word kits. What exactly is a kit?
It's a bag or a box, and it includes maybe a book, maybe a DVD, maybe both, and then something that's not a book or a DVD, like a special toy or a special adaptive device or a skeleton.
A skeleton. I've got you're tempting me. Like I said, yeah, we've got skeletons. We got now. What about now internet? I mean, really, the idea of the library is the repository of books and things to come into. That's old. It's connectivity. What internet research? What do you have available for someone to come in and research interlibrary? What do you connect to?
Yeah, we connect to so many different services. Like you said, that is really what people come here for, is to be connected to these things. So, of course, we have free Wi-Fi around the building, but we have a lot of online databases and other research tools, such as Ancestry.com, which is a very, very popular, well-known genealogy tool. So, if you're interested in researching the skeletons in your family tree, you can use Ancestry to do that. Newspapers, any all kinds of scholastic research. We even have online resources that will help you learn different things. We have lynda.com, or I guess it's called LinkedIn Learning now, which you can take a multitude of different kinds of classes on technology, on soft skills, all kinds of things. We also have Gale courses. We have a really fun item called Creative Bug, which if you're interested in doing arts and crafts, you can get tutorials through that. So all kinds of things.
Yeah, well, most of the skeletons I have are in my closet anyway. So,
Right.
what uh, the idea that you can go and research, can you check out the collections in really other like you could go to New York, you go to go to Paris or any, and can you go all over the world and look at collections and books and items?
Yeah, it all depends on that library and what they have digitized and made available to the public. But I know that many libraries do that. We, in fact, have a digital archive. We have been, along with the Baldwin Public Library, we have been digitizing the Birmingham Eccentric. So we have that available online all the way back to its beginning in the 1800s, up to, I think we've gotten up to about the 1960s. And we're always working with our local historical society, to the Bloomfield Historical Society, to find and capture unique items related to the history of Bloomfield Township and the area. And we digitize those too. So there's a whole wealth of historical items you can find. And I
What?
haven't even mentioned streaming.
Oh, yes, do.
You can stream audiobooks, you can stream ebooks, you can stream movies, TV shows, music. We have several different platforms that allow you to stream all that content that you might be already paying for with Netflix or Hulu or Amazon. You can get that for free from the library.
Yes. Now, when you digitize the eccentric up into the 1980s, they can start reading the stuff I wrote back then.
That's right.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and I didn't keep everything that I wrote. I kept lots of stuff, but I don't know that I kept everything from the eccentric. So that'd be good. Now, you're also not just a repository of media stuff. You're a community resource. You have meeting rooms. You have all kinds of places to stuff. Students who want to study can come there. How do you meet that role?
Yeah, we meet that role in a couple different ways. The meeting rooms, which I've mentioned already, that we have for rent on our lower level, those are open to Bloomfield Township residents and businesses that want to use them. And then we have 17 study rooms that are available to Bloomfield Township residents. Those are on our main floor, and those are first come, first serve. They have a 2 hour time limit when people are waiting, and there's a variety of sizes. There's smaller rooms for one or two people, and then larger rooms that might sit up to about six. And those are extremely popular. They're always full.
I know you have a coffee shop.
Well, we have vending machines, yes, and a vending cafe where it's another place where you can sit and talk. And right before the pandemic started, we developed our commons area, which we're now happy to see in full swing. But that's got 70 additional chairs and different places to sit and study. Um, that just accented the library greatly and provides a really nice space for people to collaborate and talk, but then there's also some space for people to be quiet. But if I know a lot of people like to have a little bit of activity around them while they study, and if you're that kind of person, we've got a great place for you there in the commons.
Now, my problem is if I have activity when I'm studying, I don't study, but it's individual. So it's not just the old, Mary and the librarian going, shh, that's old. Uh, do you have a 3D printer?
We do not have a 3D printer, no.
Birmingham has one, and I keep
Yeah.
thinking, yeah, and I keep thinking I'd like to print something up, but then and learn how to use it, and I can never find anything I want to print up. But when we had Doug Koshik when he was the Birmingham library director on the cable show, once he brought in this little bust of Darth Vader that they'd made, and he was just going to show it to him, and I said, "This is so cool. How much? How much is it?" He said, "Well, it's not. No, don't tell. What would you charge for something like this?" Well, $5. I pulled out my wallet. Here, I'm keeping it. So I still have that. Uh, the idea that the library is a community, not just a community resource, people can come and it's open. Having that closed during COVID was bad, but you really have kind of brought that back. What have you done post COVID differently than you did before?
Oh, that's a good question. I would say our programming has shifted quite a bit. We're still doing some hybrid, meaning virtual slash in-person things. We still do a virtual PJ story time, which is meant for like kind of a wind down at the end of the day, a very calming story time. So there are some, and outdoor story times, we're still doing those. So there are definitely some things that we started doing during the pandemic that are sticking around.
So
Um,
PJ story time. That wouldn't be like reading the books of PJ O'Rourke.
no, no, it would not. PJ as in put on your pajamas, settle in, and hear a story time.
Very nice. Yeah. That's I didn't think it was Peach, but he's the only writer I know that goes by. That used to go by PJ, and he's passed
Yeah.
away by now. Uh, Actually, I interviewed him once. He's a nice guy. What about you bringing the community in, and what do you? Well, you know what? I was going to ask about seniors, but we're going to run out of time. What are you doing for seniors?
Well, many things. I mean, our adult services department plans programming for folks who are 18 and higher, no limit. So all of the programming that happens there is directed at adults. One thing I do want to mention that we have coming up that we're really excited about is an adult spelling bee. So this is a spelling bee for those who are 18 and older, and it'll work just like the Scripps spelling bee. Bloomfield Township residents can register to sign up and be a contestant. The spelling bee happens May 10th, and they will be asked a word and asked to spell it. If they spell it, they keep moving on. If they miss it, then they are asked to sit down. So we've got that coming up, and this is something we've never done before, and we're really excited about it.
Well, you've got a lot of community events, and I think we'll take that after the talk about that after the break. But a spelling bee, I was terrible at that because I was terrible about spelling. But I think that's it's good. Nowadays, I think it would be a Wordle bee, wouldn't it? You'd have to.
Yeah, yes,
Yes. In fact, Alice and I and my wife, we will generally do it in the morning, and I think we got it in 4. So
nice.
it's better than can't get it at all. Do you have like a big like maybe like a Wordle group or something? It would be some kind of thing to think about. Well, the idea that the library has opened its doors, it is open to the public, is really a wonderful thing. I'm sure everybody missed it.
Yes, everybody did. I remember the first day we opened up to do curbside service after the long closure of those 3 months, and we had a line around our parking lot and down Timberlake Drive. So people definitely missed the library, and they're back.
It's good. Not just it's the students are there too. It's become the center again.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be coming up on final exam time in a couple of weeks, and I'm sure it's going to be jam-packed here. We've even had to open up, even though we have these 70 new spots for people to sit, we had to open up overflow in our lower level and our community room during the midterms. So people are definitely back.
Well, that's good. Well, we're going to be coming back, but before we come back, we have to take a break, which is what we're going to do right now. We're talking to Tara Moon, who is the director of the Bloomfield Township Library. I'm Chuck Moss. Don't go away. We'll be right back here on Eye on Oakland. Welcome back to Eye on Oakland. I'm Chuck Moss, your host, coming here through the magic of its StreamYard, a Zoom derivative. We have a great guest. We're talking with Tara Moon, who's the director of the Bloomfield Township Library, all the good stuff they're doing. We do this show via Zoom, virtually. Do you guys do a lot of stuff virtually, or is that kind of gone away with the virus, with the pandemic?
It's kinda gone away. It definitely bridged a gap during a time when we couldn't all be together, but what we heard from our patrons and what we've seen is that people definitely prefer to be together. In fact, when we conducted a strategic plan survey, oh gosh, about 8 months ago now, and, that came through loud and clear that people were just hankering to be back together and connect over different topics and things.
Community.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. I think we've had enough of isolation.
Yeah.
Good, good. Just a quick side. You mentioned the strategic plan. Do you have a strategic plan you're working on right now?
Yeah, we just approved it at the beginning of this year. Our library board of trustees approved it. So we've got some very lofty goals around enhancing all the things that we already do great, like our collections and our services, around bringing the community together. That is one of our major goals that we'll be working on. And then we wanted to take a look inward and work on our processes and procedures and the way that we work together with a heavy focus on making diversity, equity, and inclusion values of ours.
No, good. The more inclusive, the better. Now, uh, facilities wise, I mean, you just look. It looks fabulous. It doesn't look like it needs a big facelift or anything. Are you looking at any physical improvements?
Yes, we have a couple of spaces around the library that are underutilized or have just sort of, as people have changed and the way they use libraries changed, these spaces have just become sort of passe and they desperately need some kind of reviving. I can talk about our computer lab is a space where we feel like we need something a little different there. We have a space in the by the terrace, one of our adult services terraces. It used to be our business and investing area, and back in the day when we had Value Line and Morningstar and all of these newspapers and things that were physical, all those things have moved to online. Now that space is empty and needs something. And then we have some spaces in our youth department too that just need something different. They just need to be revived and rethought. And then of course we're always looking to see if we could add in a maker space, which would include that 3D printer you were talking about, or maybe some kind of library of things. So we've got lots of spaces in the library that need attention.
Well, yeah, it's sort of like at Myers when they took out all the old video games. We're not going to line up to play Pac-Man anymore. Darn. I used to love to. I would play this robot game called Berserk, but we're talking 40 years ago. So yeah, it's my daughters thought that was funny when they were little. So yeah, that I just kind of like to see because the Bloomfield Township Library is always, it's a very physically beautiful facility. But one thing you do have, of course, is a lot of space for community events, and I see a list of a lot of them. What is Back to Basics?
Back to Basics is happening tonight, actually. It's a workshop on canning, using canning as a way to preserve the vegetables that you grow in your garden. That's happening I think we have a presenter from the MSU Extension, and that's
Right.
happening tonight.
Well, tonight this is will probably be after we air. So,
Ah,
but you will you do it again?
if it's popular and we get demand for it, sure.
Good. Well, so now another one. You're talking about something called the Michigan Lion Dance. What's that?
Yeah, that is a way of celebrating Asian American Pacific Islander month. And oh my gosh, did I put the date down for that, Chuck?
Yeah, that would be what, 22nd, I believe.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a Saturday
22nd of
morning.
April. April.
Yep. So this weekend, a Saturday morning program, and we will have the Michigan Lion Dance crew out here to do a lion dance around the library, and also some crafts and some other fun cultural educational things.
Well, good. I would love to see someone do a lion dance that could maybe help the Lions. But I hope they're not just wearing Honolulu blue. That'd be very sad. But maybe we. I would like to do those kind of programs. You do a lot of the cross cultural, multicultural program, and this area has become very multicultural. We have so many different groups of people now. I would bring those in and kind of showcase those cultural items.
We definitely do. One of our core values is to lift up all voices. And that is what we try to do with our cultural programming. So we're always looking for different stories, voices, people to highlight and share with the community.
I know because there are certainly no lack of cultures represented in this area now, which is
Mhm.
really wonderful. Um, there's maybe one culture we could the Irish. That's me. You hear enough of those. What are there? Maybe Celtic dance? Do you get Celtic dancers, Celtic classes, anything like that?
I feel like we did have something with a Celtic theme recently, but it's escaping my memory.
St. Patrick's Day. No, that's yeah. No, you probably shouldn't have that going on there. That we have Dick O'Dow's is our Celtic Cultural Center in Birmingham. Uh, Summer reading kickoff. What do you do in the summer reading?
Yeah, so another one of our missions is to encourage reading all year round, and this is targeted towards students, but also we want to encourage adults to read in the summer as well. But we recognize that to avoid that summer slide in terms of losing some of the scholastic gains that a student has made over the school year, we encourage students to read with our summer reading program. It's an incentive-based program. There are prizes involved. We have special programming all summer long. Kids can sign up and adults can sign up online. There will be all kinds of details about that in a couple of weeks. The kickoff is June 20th. So we've got a few weeks before that starts, but I did want to put in a plug for that in case people are looking for something to inspire them to read over the summer.
Well, when I was, that's all I did all summer was read, basically. So yeah, it's summer reading and books. I know when our daughters were younger, they would get lists of books from the school that they would, to keep them reading, keep them engaged. For
Yep.
for me, it would actually have been mathematics. I should have been doing all summer reading. I was good at. I did that. But that's some good stuff. Now, what is the Great Lakes Chamber Music Festival?
Yeah, so the Great Lakes Chamber Music Festival is an outside group. It's a Detroit-based group that plans chamber music concerts and different kind of programming around the Metro Detroit area. And they partnered with us last summer on a really wonderful program and wanted to come back again. We have a four-part series, and it's happening in June. I don't have the dates off the top of my head, but you can definitely check our website for that. And it's just some very interesting and interactive programming too. So this isn't just you show up and listen to some chamber music. There's going to be some interaction between the audience and the musicians, and they have just some really interesting things planned. So I really hope everybody can take part in that.
So I like chamber music. I'm confession, I'm a big fan of the opera. You should see about maybe doing something with MOT. Excuse me, it's not MOT anymore. It's Detroit Opera. It used to be Michigan Opera Theater.
Yeah.
I think I was down there last night. The Spanish Civil War. It was actually fabulous. Uh, Now, I was a question. If you've got a wish list of things, with community things you could do, what would that be?
Oh man. Well, I think, do you mean like programming?
Yeah, I mean the library is Bloomfield Township Library always strikes me as something that's operating at all eight cylinders or four, however many cylinders you want to have now, providing we still use cylinders, maybe at all full voltage, whatever they will be. So horsepower. What do you see the library the role changing, altering, or kind of staying the same? What do you see?
Well, I think I would touch back on those items that I talked about with our building. We, as you said, we are very lucky to have a very, very large library. We have a lot of space here, but making those spaces mean something to people and make them, relevant to what they want to do is always a challenge and something that's always evolving. So if I had a wish list for anything, it would be, um, I mean, I wish that I had all the time in the world to devote to thinking about those spaces. And then, of course, all the money in the world to buy like amazing furniture, um, and just make those spaces really, really relevant to people. As you said, the way people use the library is different. It used to be that people would maybe come in, talk to a librarian, take some books and go home, or maybe work on a report here. But now we have folks who come in and we're their office for their business, or they're meeting with a tutor, or they're meeting with uh, an attorney or something. I mean, we have people who do all kinds of different meetings here. And so we want to provide spaces for people to do that, and bring in library resources when they're needed as well. So I think building spaces would be the thing that I'm really, really anxious to get to and really want to do a great job on.
I know that in the various offices and things, I always had meetings at the Bloomfield Township Library. That was always a handy. It was either there or Leo's Coney Island. And after I gained too much weight, it was sort of like I love Leo's, but you know,
Yeah, no pressure here. You don't have to buy anything.
no, I don't have to have Coney dog, which is too bad because I like Coney dogs. But so you're the idea of being that kind of a resource, be that kind of a place where everybody can come is valuable. Uh, I was actually kind of touched on the idea. I don't think you have much of a problem connecting with the younger people and the students. How about seniors? Do you work with Bloomfield seniors or any of those groups?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you're right. You did ask about that. Yes, we are close friends with the Bloomfield Township Senior Center. And our staff sometimes pop up over there and their staff come over here. We definitely refer our patrons back and forth to each other. We have a great relationship with them. And then, like I said, all of our adult programming is open to seniors, and we do try to pick topics that would relate definitely to older adults. We have, for instance, an identification theft class coming up, not teaching you how to do it, but teaching you how to avoid being a victim of identity theft. So
Yeah, I
that's going to
hate
be
to have to learn how to do it.
right. Of course, maybe if you learn how to do it, you would learn how to protect yourself. But
Yeah.
um, and then I lost my train of thought.
We're
But
talking about programming of interest to seniors.
for seniors, yeah. We're always looking for ways to connect seniors to the resources that they want, and technology is a huge part of that. So we have one-on-one assistance that's offered if somebody needs a little extra help using their smartphone or using their laptop, because so many of our ways that we offer content is streaming now. It's really important for people to be able to use apps like Libby and Canopy and Hoopla. All of these are things that provide that great streaming content, but there is a little bit of work involved in figuring them out. So we want to help people with that.
Libby and Canopy and Hoopla. You have now gone beyond my level of understanding. Uh,
That's okay, Chuck. We're here for you. Come anytime and we'll explain them all to
that'll be
you.
good. Yeah, here and I was because I was one of the early adopters too. Well, this has really been a wonderful session here. How about anybody? You always have a lot of volunteers. How would you get involved if somebody wanted to volunteer?
Thank you. That was actually the other thing I was going to talk about is our Friends of the Library. Our Friends of the Library is a group of people that are dedicated to supporting the library, mostly through financial means, but they're also kind of an ambassador group for us. They know a little bit more about library operations than your regular person. They are primarily a group of older folks because it does take a lot of time and it helps to be retired to be a member of the Friends, but it's definitely not a requirement. But those folks put on our second Saturday sales. I don't know if you've ever been to one of our used book and DVD sales, but we hold those every month, the second Saturday. And the Friends put that together. So if somebody was looking for a way to help the library out, volunteering with the Friends would be a great place to start. And you can find information about that on our website.
Very good. Well, thank you for joining us here. This is always good to know what's going on at the community and the library and coming back from post COVID. So, thank you very much, Tara Moon, who's the director of the Bloomfield Township Library. I'm Chuck Moss, and thank you for joining us here on Eye on Oakland.